If Sir Keir Starmer does manage to win the election this year, the first thing he should do is hand a peerage to Lee Anderson. The Tory MP for Ashfield has done more to propel Labour into Downing Street than any of their own apparatchiks or politicians could ever have dreamed of. His rather off-the-cuff remarks at the weekend about Sadiq Khan have created a whirlwind of madness from Westminster to Rochdale. There can be no part of Britain that is unaware of his suggestion that the Mayor of London is somehow in thrall to a mysterious group of Islamists. You might say from the Thames River to the North Sea. People up and down the country are either totally in agreement with him or think he is now the rightly crowned king of Islamophobia. The Tories don't seem to be too sure, of course, in keeping with the current state of the Conservative Party. And while Lee Anderson hasn't elaborated on his claims, I respect him for not apologising, because after all, why should he? If an MP believes something to be true and then utters an opinion about that, then what exactly is the problem? I've even heard pundits today on TalkTV talking about Lee's truth. Because if Meghan Markle is allowed to have her own truth, why can't he have his? Lee Anderson has always been outspoken, and that, for many people, is his selling point to the public. He tells it like it is. And while Sadiq Khan can deny all he likes that there is no bias in the way that London is governed, everyone can see that the evidence would suggest otherwise. The police, for example, were forced to let go of a couple of advisors from the Muslim community last year when video clips emerged of them pushing from the river to the sea as a belief and an ideology. And as Lee Anderson said, Sadiq has been extremely quiet on the entire subject of the pro-Palestine marches and the rights of most Londoners, who find the weekly hate fest intimidating and downright inconvenient. When the police stood by and watched as that same slogan, roundly viewed as anti-Semitic and against the law, was projected onto the Palace of Westminster in Big Ben last week, it was clear that they have lost control of the streets. Days later, another mob decided to occupy Tower Bridge, which was then closed for hours. And you would have been hard-pressed to even find a police officer at the scene of that. All of which moves the political agenda away from Keir Starmer's machinations and manipulations on the day of the ceasefire vote in Parliament, which collapsed into chaos thanks to Sir Lindsay Hoyle's ridiculous decision to allow the Labour amendment to be discussed. No one is now talking about Labour's stitch-up. No one is talking about the death threats received by MPs from pro-Hamas sympathisers, the latest of which was aimed at Reform's Rochdale candidate. And no one is talking about Starmer's anti-Semitic problem. It's all about the bad guy, Lee Anderson. And that cannot be good.